Well, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of To a Woman's Heart, where we uplift, motivate, encourage, and empower women. I missed you all on last week, and that's because I have been sick. My asthma was giving me problems, but I got a little breather for today, and I'm just bracing for Thursday for the change of weather again. So y'all pray for me as I pray for you. Make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok. Follow us on our social media outlet. That is toawomansheart.org. Subscribe if you're a woman with a business. You can share life moments, network, and brand your business. Also, check out the website with the t-shirts that speaks to the heart of a woman. That's toawomansheart.store. All right. So tonight, the topic is self-reflection. And as everybody know, usually when I do a topic, I start out with the definition of self-reflection. All right. So reflection means it's a noun to the throwing back by a body or surface of light, heat, or sound without absorbing it. Example, the reflections of light. Sending back, throwing back. The second meaning is serious thought or consideration. He doesn't get much time for reflection, thought, thinking, consideration. What does it mean to do a reflection? Reflection is a means of processing thoughts and feelings about an incident or a difficult day and gives us a chance to come to terms with our thoughts and feelings about it. Reflections can be particularly useful in dealing with a difficult or challenging. All right. I hit the camera, so I hit the camera. Okay, let's see if it put it back. Okay, start cam. Voila, here we go. I hit the camera. All right, so reflection. How I got to this point is, I scroll through social media, I watch YouTube videos, I listen to conversation, and I realize that we as women are really hard on ourselves. We're really hard on ourselves. And when we look in the mirror and we see ourselves, we really don't like what we see all the time. And in not liking what you see all the time, it causes you to feel a certain way about yourself. It causes you to look at yourself a little differently. And the reason I say that is because I was watching My Killer Body, K. Michelle. And I realized it really resonated within my spirit that we as women, we reflect on things. We do things reflecting on what somebody has said to us. We do things reflecting on what has been done to us. We do things reflecting on what we have lived through. And so when you talk about challenging, thinking about when you look in the mirror at yourself, and if you look at your mirror in the mirror closely at yourself for a long time, you can start to pick apart yourself. You can say you don't like your eyes. You can say you don't like your nose. You can say you don't like your mouth. And if you do a full body mirror, you can say, I don't like my butt. I don't like my breasts. I don't like the way my arms flap at the bottom. I don't like the way my thighs rub. I don't like, I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm not losing weight in the right spot. So you start reflecting back when you was 16, and you start reflecting back when you was 20, and you start thinking, well, what happened to me? How did I get to that point? Well, first of all, you have to understand it's life. and nothing stays the same. If it did when you was born as a baby, depending how old you are now, 9 times out of 10, you probably would still be that baby. But in life, we change, we evolve, we get to know who we are as individuals. We find things that we like and we find things that we don't like. Reflection is good on one side, but on the other side, reflection can be bad for some. And it has a great impact on how we think and how we feel about ourselves as women. And I say this all the time, and it's really been pricking my spirit to just talk about this. We need to love our whole self, our whole self. We were made the way God designed us to be. And I say this again. Everybody is not meant to have the big butt. Everybody's not meant to have the big breasts. Everybody's not meant to have the small waistline. Because if we had those things, we probably would be able to stand ourselves. We'd be so arrogant and prideful, nobody would want to be around us, to be bothered with us, period. So we was given what God wanted us to have. And if we can't use what we have in a good way, well, what's the sense in having it? We need to reflect on some of our conversations that we have with ourselves, that we have with others, even though sometimes we don't think those conversations have impact. We don't think they have impact. But when you feel a certain way about somebody, your position, you as a person, you kind of change, you kind of shift. Because when you get to a point when you start reflecting on how your relationship started and then where is it now, and reflecting, you may find that somewhere down the line there's a disconnection. Something is not touching anymore. And it's just like when you go in your room and you cut on the switch to cut the light on. Now you can flick the switch up and down, but if the wires behind the switch has disconnected themselves, no matter how many times you up and down that switch, the lights are never going to come on because there is no power. There is no connection with the wires. They have been separated. And relationships, family relationships, friend relationships, marriage relationship, dating relationships, when we reflect and we kind of look back, we can see sometimes where some of us have made some mistakes. Some of us have made some wrong turns. But even in making the mistakes, even in making the wrong turns and you reflecting, the reflection is meant for you to look at it, to say, to take something from it and then to learn from it and move on. But some of us in our reflection, we stay there. We get stuck in that spot. We stay back in the past of what somebody said to us, what somebody did to us, how they treated us. We stay stuck in that environment. Reflection is good when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to be a better person. So you can look at yourself at where you was. You can look at yourself when you started to grow. You can look at yourself mid-range, and you can look at yourself where you are today. But a lot of us can't look at ourselves because we don't want to change. Some people just don't want to change. They don't want to reflect. But I find when I was watching the series, I found that a lot of women who were doing the surgery to correct things that they felt they need to correct had nothing to do with the surgery. Nothing. It was all about them reflecting on how somebody treated them in the past. Like I said, one of the girls' reflection was she wanted love. She wanted to be in a relationship. She wanted, I'm assuming from a conversation where she was talking, she wanted some type of commitment, which means she wanted to be married. And so in her reflecting, doing all the things that, girlfriends slash wife that's not a wife do, to try to appease the man instead of appeasing yourself. And you doing all these things, and then he started to disconnect from her. This was in My Killer Body. He started to disconnect from her. So she's reflecting on all this stuff. And then she says to herself, in order for me to be loved, in order for me to have a good relationship, then I'm going to do something with my body. But if somebody don't want you, I don't care who it is, whether it's your husband, whether you're dating, and if somebody won't be bothering you, whether it's your friends, whether it's your relatives, that's on them. You can't make nobody love you. You can't make nobody like you. You can't pay them to love you. You can't pay them to like you. So in her reflection of how this man started off good, but it became a disconnection for her. She felt, by her reflecting back and by him saying what he was saying to her and doing what he was doing, that she felt the next best thing for her was to change the shape of her body, not realizing it had nothing to do with her body. Not at all. And so when she did what she did and it didn't go right, he still left. He still broke up with her. He still left. And the surgery went bad. So now you got two things working against you. Now you're thinking to yourself, okay, I reflected back on my relationship, why I felt it didn't work. The best thing you can do for any relationship is talk it out. If you feel like somebody feel a certain way about you, then talk it out. If you feel like somebody dislike you, then talk it out. If you feel like somebody is changing, then talk it out. Because we as individuals, we think we know, and we really don't know. We perceive one thing or action to be one thing, something else, and pretty much is a whole different other thing, unbeknownst to you. So now you're reflecting on she's reflecting on what he did not do, what he stopped doing, and then he walked out. And then even after she had the surgery, he still was not interested in her. So now she's reflecting again. Now I did this surgery because I feel like I need to change my outer appearance to appease him instead of pleasing yourself. And we as women have a bad habit. When somebody don't want to be bothered with us, whether it's family members, whether it's friends, whether it's co-workers, whether it's your husband, whether it's somebody you're dating. We think it all the time it has something to do with us. But all the time it don't have nothing to do with you. Most of the time it has something to do with the individual. And 9 times out of 10, the individual is insecure one way or another, because some people can't be around individuals that's strong, that has a strong mind, a strong will. Some people feel intimidated, and then some people have a bad case of fear. What if it don't? What if this happened? What if? And some people just don't know how to communicate. They just don't. And some people are not meant to be in relationships, period. So we should understand that all the time when things don't work out, we think it's us. We don't ever think that it has something to do with them. All the time when things don't work, it has nothing to do with us. But we as women, let's be honest, we are overthinkers. We think something and we run with it, and we think we have the answer to what we think we know, and we really don't. And and if we did have the answer, we're scared to ask the question because we don't want to be validated in what we thought was true, which potentially could turn out to be true. Now, love yourself enough to cut the umbilical cord. Love yourself enough to not overthink it. If somebody wants to be with you, if somebody wants to be your friend, if somebody want to marry you, if somebody, even family members want to be around you, they're going to be around you. Because you have to understand the person should love you for who you are. not for who you pretend to be, but for who you are, your true, authentic self. And that's the best thing you can be, your true, authentic self. And if you reflect back and you feel like somebody don't want to be bothered, whatever the reason, maybe somebody said something negative about you, and then the other person feel like what the other person said negative about you was true without getting to know who you are as an individual, then that's on them. That has nothing to do with you. You're only responsible for you. So whatever you do in your reflection, you can analyze it, but take the message from the madness and then move on. If it's something good for you to hold on to, then hold on to it. But if something you need to put in file 13, that's exactly where it needs to be. And I'm going to say this. Sometimes we hold on to things that God is trying to tear out of our hands, and we just want to hold on to it. And it's not good for us. We think it's good for us, but it's not good for us. So when people, like Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, 9 times out of 10, you should believe them. Because let me say, when people are truly loving you for who you are, they love you through the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, your happy days, your sad days, your cranky days, whatever it may be. They love you regardless. There is no limitation in love. Love, true love, is unlimited love. People love you beyond your faults. They love you beyond your present moment, what you're sitting in. Love go beyond. So if somebody really wants to be in your corner, if somebody really wants to be your supporter, somebody really wants to be your encourager, they gonna be there, irregardless. Irregardless. Because everybody have a bad day. We all have bad days. We don't always get it right. We don't always do it right. We don't always say it right. And we don't always act right. We don't. You know why I say that? Because life causes us to look at things, different things, relationships, whether they're good or bad, because causes us to look at things differently, which we reflect on. It causes us to look at things differently. And then in our reflection, instead of us taking out of it what can make us better or help us make better decisions, we usually pick up the negative side of it. And we wear that. We walk around with it. We lay down with it and we get up with it. Instead of saying, okay, well, let me think about this situation. Yeah, me and Billy dated. Billy didn't want to commit, so it didn't work out. But instead of we doing that and you walking away, you was like, yeah, me and Billy dated. But I don't know. When the relationship is broke, we sit down, we cry, we get emotional about the relationship dissolving. We was like, I don't know why Billy didn't want to be with me. Why? I don't know. What was it, something I did? Was it something I said? Could I have done something better? Could I have dressed better? I don't know. Let me think. Well, where did it go wrong at? I'm trying to see. Where did it go wrong? What did I do? What did I say? Why Billy don't like me no more? Why my family members don't want to be bothered with me no more? What did I do? What did I say? Now you start replaying situation. You start running scenarios. You start running commercials. You start running scripts. You start running conversation. You reflecting back to see what did you do. And maybe it's not nothing that you did do. Have you ever considered it was something on their side instead of your side? All the time, we don't have to walk around with the heavy weight. We don't. Sometimes we just say it is what it is and move on. Again, when somebody really loves you, somebody really cares about you, they're going to be there for you irregardless. Yeah, when you have your conversations, yeah, when you bump heads, yeah, when you have disagreements, yeah, but the disagreements are past. The bumping of heads, you'll be old with it. You might have a little mild headache for a minute, but that'll go away too. And then y'all go back to the basics. You go back to the basics. But family members, friendships, dating, marriage, Everybody has a responsibility on each side. It takes two people to make a relationship. You can't build a relationship one-sided. I can't be honest and upfront with you and you being crooked and secretive and manipulative with me. That's not a good relationship. Neither is it a balanced relationship. So if you're going to be in a relationship, you need that honesty. So you don't have to reflect. But then we as women, we don't have expectations when we go into a certain relationship. We don't get to know people. We don't pay attention to their aura, how they deal with things, how they say things. And I always say this, and I'll still stick to it. We listen to the words that's being said to us, but we never stop to listen to the unspoken words. Do you know unspoken words is a voice too? Just like people's facial expression. When you say something, how they sit, their whole demeanor tells a story. But because we are so desperate to have the relationship, the friendship, to be with a coworker, to be with a man, to be married to somebody, we push what our wants and desires are to the back burner. And we accept what's being served to us on a plate, disregarding what we want, what we will not accept. We disregard that. And then, like I said, when relationships don't work, then we reflect. I did this. I bought them this, and I called them, and I was more of a friend to them than they was to me. And I can't believe they did that to me. And I tried to help them out. And the more I tried to help them, the more they did me wrong. But then you have to ask yourself the question, was you doing what you was doing for the pat on the back? Or was you doing what you were doing from the kindness, the sincerity, and the genuineness of your heart? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Because if you're looking for some accolades, you're looking for some pats on your back, you're going to be disappointed a whole lot of times. You are. Now, if you have somebody in your life, whatever relationship is, whatever goes down, and they keep being there for you, that might be somebody you want to hang on to. That might be the very person you want to hang on to. But then you have to question these individuals who say they care about you, who say they love you, who say they got your back, who say they're in your corner. And baby, they can't wait for you to get out of their presence before they cut you up one side and down the other. And the good part to all that, you may not know. You may not see, you may not understand, and they may not show you that part of them to your face. But I'm going to say this so everybody can understand. Don't fret, don't worry, don't be stressed, because God knows, God sees, and God is the avenger on your behalf. We don't have to step up and avenge anything when somebody does us wrong about anything. I say this all the time, put them at the feet of Jesus and let him breathe on them, because we have gotten to a point that friendship don't mean friendship anymore. Family don't mean family anymore in some situations. Husband and marriage don't mean marriage anymore. Dating don't really have no value anymore. Let's reflect on those things. And then the question should become is why? Why don't anyone want to be committed in a relationship? Why is it okay to sleep around like a revolving door? Why by reflecting on that? Why don't you reflect? Why do I give myself to somebody and I don't get nothing in return? So when do you think that you have some value in you? And start feeling bad about that. Because like Steve Harvey said, when a man loves you, truly loves you, you ain't got to talk too much. You ain't got to ask him for too much, because he's going to make sure your needs are met. So we as women need to understand our value. We need to understand our worth, and we need to stand on that. Reflect on that. How about you reflect going back and getting your value? How about you reflect on going back and getting your worth? How about you reflect on going back and getting your confidence? How about you reflect and go back and get your standards? How about you reflect on that? And stop reflecting on stuff in the past because you can't change it. It's done. It's over with. Only thing you can do is learn from it and don't make the same mistakes again. And as I say, as I talk to you, I talk to myself because I done stood in them shoes too. I didn't question myself as an individual when it come down to relationship. You know, even when you get to a certain age, you feel like you should be in a stable relationship. You feel like you should have a solid foundation in a household or marriage and your kids and all that stuff. And it don't work out that way all the time. And then we let the men put the negative words in our ears and make us feel like we're less than a woman when we're not. We're still that woman. We're still just as strong. We're still just as confident, and we're still just as beautiful as we was before that. So you don't have to look back at what he says and wait and reflect on what he says and stand on his words. Stand on your own words. Affirm yourself as that woman. Because a lot of these men will stop doing what they're doing if we stop giving them our power. They do what they do because we give them our power. And so we need to take our power back. And I'm going to say this again so everybody can understand. God made woman for a reason. Y'all don't understand that? He made her for a reason. The man blamed her for him biting the apple, but God made her for a reason. And if the man felt like we had that much power to make him bite the apple, why don't we think we got that much power? And we give up our power, we give up our rights, we give up our voice, we give up everything. And then when the relationship breaks down, crumble, and fall apart, we sit in our houses. Our kids are looking at us while we broke down. We won't take a bath. We won't wash our face. We won't brush our teeth. We can't get our world together because we sitting there. We playing videos. We playing songs because we're reflecting now. We're reflecting. We're reflecting on how the relationship started. How, oh, it was so good when it started. But we ignored the signs that it was deteriorating. We ignored the signs. We ignored the signs in a relationship that our voice was being snatched. We ignored the signs. We ignored the signs that us as an individual was being put to the back burner. I was no longer an individual. Now I was you. And whatever you said, I was you. And whatever you said, I would do. Whatever you say, go, I will go. So we're reflecting on that. And then eventually we get to a point in reflection. How did I let myself fall so far? And it's okay to ask yourself the question. But I want us to stop beating ourselves up when we ask ourselves the question. So when you ask yourself the question and you figure out the answer, then you got the solution. Work on being better and don't be a repeat offender. Now you know some things. Now you have learned some things. Life is lessons lived and learned. That's what it is. We didn't come here with instruction books. We didn't. We think we're going to get it right every time we put our foot on the floor. There is a chance for us to mess it up. But we have to give ourselves permission to say it's okay. Sometimes you need to spend time alone. And you're right. But you know what, Juanita, a lot of women don't know how to be by themselves. They have to have that individual in their life. They are dependent on somebody else. And what God is trying to teach us, you need a long time. You need a long time to learn who you are as an individual. You need a long time to figure some things out for yourself. You need a long time to heal. You need a long time to mend. But what we don't do, we get broken. We don't heal. We don't mend. We don't be whole. And we let somebody come back up, whisper those sweet nothings in our ears, and we run back into the same routine again. And then when we end up in the same fire, just with a different individual, but it's the same fire. It's a repeat cycle again. We end up in the same fire. Then when that don't work, then we back to square one again. We start blaming ourselves again. But you never took no time for yourself. There's nothing wrong. There's a difference being alone and being lonely. Please understand that, ladies. There is totally a difference than being alone than being lonely. You can be alone and live an awesome life. Let me tell you, I live it every day. I don't have no headaches, no hassles, no frustration, no irritation, no aggravation from no mate. Understand me when I say I don't. I've taken the time to be by myself and to learn how to be content with who I am as an individual. Now, if he come along, I'm much better than what I was. And that's what we as women need to learn. Take some time to yourself. There's nothing wrong. I don't care what nobody say to you. Girl, you ain't never gonna get a man. I'm gonna tell y'all this again. Understand me good and clear. Renee is 61. You hear what I'm saying? July, I'll be 62. Don't have no man in my life. It's been about 10 years, and I can talk about me. It's 10 years since I've had the physical. Well, it might be longer than that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But what I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not giving them my cookies just to give them up. This is not a free ride here. And I'm not calling myself no person who's selling myself, but I know my value and I know my worth. And I want you all to understand your value and understand your worth. So that's what we need to do. And if we're going to get to where we need to be as women, we're going to have to work on some things. We really are. And again, reflection can be good and it can be bad. It's all how you look at it. It's all how you, there's nothing wrong reflecting to be better. And that's the purpose of reflecting, is to be better. The purpose of reflecting is say, yes, I got in this situation. Yes, it didn't work out right. Yes, I made a mistake. Yes, I made the wrong decision. Yes, I stayed too long. Yes, I should have listened. Yes, I saw the signs and I ignored them. Yes, I did that. Okay, now what can we learn from all these things? Next time, I'm going to pay attention to the sign. Next time, I'm going to put me first before I investing more in somebody else than I invest in myself. Next time, I'm going to lay my expectations on the table going into any relationship. I don't care, even with your family, your friends, your co-worker, somebody you're dating, even your husband. Sometimes you might need to resit him down and say, look, this is where I'm at right now, and I need you to understand this. Bottom line. So reflection is good. So you got the problem. Now you know what the problems were. Now you got the solution. Now you're going to work the solution and make it a reality for you so you can be the best version of yourself you can be. And let me tell you, you think confidence is something else. You think having self-esteem is something else. I'm going to tell you what's the best thing a woman can have that she can walk with is her strength. That's the best thing you can have is your strength. Nobody can walk over you. Nobody can push you where you don't want to go because you're standing strong in who you are. And I've said this a long time ago, and I want you all to listen to this really good. Know the woman that you are, the grounds that you stand on, and let nobody shake it. Nobody. Because when you know the woman that you are, they can't pull anything over you because you're not going to accept it, and neither will you allow it. And when you know what the grounds you stand on, you know the power that you possess. You know the power that you possess. And I said this many times before, like Tyler Perry said in the play. When the doctor told your mother you was coming out the womb, what did he say? It's a girl. That was the day your power started. And you need to understand your power, baby, and use it. I'm not saying use it to use somebody, but use it wisely. Stand strong in the shoes that you walk in. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what shape you are. I don't care what ethnic race you are. Stand strong in those shoes that you walk in. Honey, you didn't earn them shoes. How many battle scars you got? from things that didn't work out right, from family members that disappointed you, the family members that cut you up, talked about you, put your name on the wing that the eagle can fly high in the sky with. How many co-workers then set you up, pull the chair from under you and pull the rug from under your feet? How many men you done dated and promised you things and broke your little lovely heart? How many marriages you done been in and that black man or whoever he was walked away and left you penniless with children? Understand your strength. Understand your power. And that's something that we as women need to take back. I kid you not. We need to walk with boldness and confidence in our strength because we are strong. We are strong. Baby, anybody that can deal with labor, you know you got to be strong. Let me tell you. And if you haven't had a baby, if you deal with grown men, sometimes they can act like kids too. You've been through a lot, ladies. I've been through a lot, but I survived it. I survived it. So when you reflect from this day forward, reflect with a different mindset. Not reflecting to beat yourself down, not reflecting to look in the past, but reflect to be better. Don't overthink it. It's okay. It's okay. God forgave you. Forgive yourself. A lot of us is still beating ourselves because we don't know how to forgive ourselves. I give you permission to forgive yourself. I do. Let me tell you, and like I said, I can talk about me. My son's father, it would be, if my son was living, he'd be about 33. So I would say about 34, 35 years. I told him one day, I said, you know what? What we're dealing with now is okay for me. It's okay for me because I'm fine where I'm at. I say, but there is going to get to a point in my life that when I say enough is enough and I ain't doing this no more, I'm going to be done. And you're going to say, no, you're not. And I'm going to say, yes, I am. I'm done. I'm cutting the umbilical cord. I said this in the other video. Go back and look at it. No child can survive, can grow with the umbilical cord still attached to the inside of your uterus, and you drag it around and think it's going to grow and continue to get the oxygen it needs to survive. We dragging men around. We dragging friends around. We dragging family members around. Baby, let me tell you, cut the umbilical cord. Keep your oxygen to yourself and let them breathe on their own because that's what they need to do. So when it got to a point, when I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, the lies, the broken promises and all this stuff, I was done. And when I say I was done, I was done. Nothing you can say, nothing you can do. You can't buy me. The little sex option don't move me anymore. I'm over it. I'm over it. It ain't about him. It's about me. It's about my expectations and what I want out of life. This all about me, just like it's all about you. So that was my reflection. I cut the cord. And I meant that. I love me better than anybody. And if you can't love me wholeheartedly for who I am, and you can see the value and the worth in me as a woman, as an individual, then we don't need to be together with nobody. I don't care who it is. Family, friends, co-workers, don't bother me none. I cut people off. I don't care. I don't need no dead weight around me. I don't need nothing that's going to drag me down. None of that. Because if you can't see the value in me and you can't love me for who I am, then ain't no sense of us being bothered with each other. That's you go your way and I go mine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Life still goes on. And what we have to realize, everybody's not meant to travel every season that we change in. They're not. Some people are winter, some people are fall, some people are spring, and some people are summer. And that's how God intended to be. We just need to learn that. So I pray that this conversation has helped. I pray that it calls you to get some thought process. Somebody said, Juanita said, it's time for a change. It is. It's time for a change of mindset. That's the first place you need to change is your mindset. Do things differently. Somebody gonna love you, honey. Let me tell you, they gonna love you. You ain't got to beg, you ain't got to plead, you ain't got to borrow, you ain't got to steal it. They gonna give it freely. But we have to set some boundaries. We have to put out some expectations and stop giving up your cookie so easily. Because this is where the problem comes in at. Long as you're friends, you're okay. But once you give up that cookie, now it becomes an emotional connection. And it's hard to detach. It is. And they steady whispering sweet nothings in your ear, and then they lie and deceive you. Then you go to bed, you reflecting again. Well, he said he was gonna come today. He didn't show up. He wasn't intending to come. So stop giving him the things that he desires. Because if he won't commit to you, he'll leave you and go find somebody who ain't gonna take nowhere near the stuff you take and commit without any problem. 2 3 weeks. People like, how they get married so quick? Because she won't tolerate what you allowed. So stop allowing things. There you go. Ask him what he wants. Ask him what he's looking for up front. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your time. Your time is just as valuable as anybody else's, and you have to understand that. That's all I'm saying. It is what it is. But in order for us to be better, in order for us to be whole and healthy, and to become our better, best selves, reflect on that. Reflect on how you can be the best version of you can be. Reflect on how you can stop beating yourself up and dragging the guilt bag around everywhere you go. Forgive yourself. Let it go. So what? No person is perfect. And even when you look at people on TV, they are not perfect. They got personal chefs, personal trainers, and everything else. We look at what we see, not realizing the money they pay for all that stuff. They Photoshop magazines. Stop living in fantasy land. Nobody is perfect. Even the famous people have a problem with their bodies. They don't like some things. That's why they do their lips, their nose, their eyes, their boobs, and their butts. Trying to fit in. Make your own tracks. Why would you want to walk in somebody else's shoes? You got your own shoes to step in. Walk in them. Reflect on that. Stand in your own lane. You're strong enough to stand in your lane, so do that. All right? So, I hope you have enjoyed this conversation because it's been interesting. And I think I have some people coming on next week, probably week after that. Some ladies that have a business. You late? I'm sorry. It's okay. Some businesses that's coming on, but ladies, come on. Thank you. I want you all to really think about making yourself whole. I want you to really think about mending the broken places. I want us as women to, okay, thank you, girl. I want you to really think about, like I said, mending the broken places. I want you to think about forgiving yourself. And I want you to stop being so hard on yourself. Everything takes time. You didn't get there overnight. You're not going to get out of it overnight. But set some expectations for yourself. Set some boundaries. And most of all, like I said, what we as women don't realize that we carry that is so powerful, and that's our strength. We some strong mama jamas. I'm telling you, we real strong. But we need to realize how strong we are. We need to realize how valuable we are. We need to realize and understand what we possess. We possess some great things. Some great things. But you have to know that and you have to believe that for yourself. Can't nobody tell you that. You have to know that and believe it for yourself. And stop listening to what people say. Beauty starts on the inside and it protrudes out. And nobody, nowhere on this earth is a perfect body. They're not. If you look at yourself a good 5 to 10 minutes, I guarantee you there is something in the mirror. If you fully undress yourself, you will find that you don't like. You will find that's imperfect. And it's okay. You know why it's okay? Because that makes you unique. Appreciate that uniqueness. Dress it up. Build it up. It's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You can fix up, you can dress up, style yourself, make your face. You can even change your hair because I do it all the time. It's all about you. And if we start looking at ourselves, thinking about ourselves, being better with ourselves, we'll be okay. So come on, ladies. If you're going to reflect, let's reflect on how to be better. You made the mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. Let's move on. Let's grow from it. Let's do better. All right. Make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the website, toawomansheart.com. There is a social media outlet for women only. If you have a business, you like to brand your business, network, and share life moments, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Go to toawomansheart.org, sign up, and take another woman over there with you, and check out the t-shirts that speaks to the heart of a woman. To a woman's heart store. You have a good evening as well, Juanita. To a woman's heart store. All right. So until we talk again, take care. See you later. Let's continue to pray for one another, especially with the mask mandate being dropped, that we all stay covered in the blood of Jesus. Okay. I'll pray for you and you pray for me, and y'all take care and be good to yourselves. All right. Talk soon.